Oh, you're able to get it?
Yep, I just got it.
George, haven't seen you in a while.
All right, now we are live on YouTube. This is a live stream coming to you from the Hendrick's VVIP Lounge, and I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Lauren Paylor and Sir Richard Garriott, and our ambassador later, Vance, will be right on. Take it away, Lauren.
Awesome. Well, hello, everyone, again. My name is Lauren Paylor, LP, and I'm the chief mixologist for Yuri's Night. I guess inputting this pun is probably not as funny the second time around, but it's a title I never thought I would have. Very honored to have it. And I'm joined here by Sir Richard Garriott, and very, very excited to be co-hosting this pre-show party with you. Awesome.
Thrilled to be here with you as well, by the way. This is going to be a fun night.
Yeah, I hope y'all are ready because it's a long one too. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I welcome you all to the 2021 virtual Yuri's Night celebration, brought to you by Hendrick Gin. And Yuri's Night, for those of you who do not know, is an international celebration held every year around April 12th to commemorate milestones in space exploration. It is named for the first human to launch into space, Yuri Gagarin, who flew the Vostok 1 spaceship on April 12, 1961. Today, we celebrate a lot of things. We celebrate the 60th anniversary of that first human spaceflight, the 40th anniversary of the first space shuttle flight, and the 20th anniversary of Yuri's Night itself, which is really amazing. I'm really honored to be here. So one of the things that I love about Yuri's Night is honestly how eclectic and diverse and vastly different the groups of people that come together to celebrate it are. And this year, we are joined by some amazing folks, such as Sir Richard Branson, Bill Nye the Science Guy, Dr. Cyan Proctor, Vance Henderson, Richard Garriott, and more. More importantly, we offered something new and fun to celebrate the milestone of space in our largest virtual celebration ever. We've crafted a VVIP box, which if you're in this room, I'm assuming you received it. And it features 2 cocktails that we will be going over today, and I'm really excited to do that. So we have our Hendrick Lunar Gin cocktail, which we have 2 ambassadors that will pop on and talk about that with us, as well as our Russian Standard Vodka cocktail, which Richard will lead us with shortly. So we'll discuss this box a little bit more just because there are a lot of fun things in it. But with this box being purchased, we were able to raise a lot of money to support the efforts of Yuri's Night, and additionally fund our scholarship for Space Camp, which is really exciting. So I'm going to stop talking now. I'm going to introduce my co-host, Richard Garriott, additionally Igor and Vance, and invite them up so that we can get this party started. Let's do it.
Excellent. Yeah, well, while you get Igor and Vance up here, first let me say thanks, Lauren. It's great to be with you and Loretta and all the rest of the Yuri's Night team. Shall I dive in a little bit and tell you about the cocktail that I'm about to mix? Is this a good time to kick right in?
Yeah, I think it's the perfect time to do that.
Okay, well, let me tell you a little story about this cocktail, which I call the American Cosmonaut. And the reason why I call it the American Cosmonaut has to go back to its beginnings, which is that, you know, when I was in training to fly to space, and which, by the way, the space flight, of course, was incredible. That's a whole nother story. But frankly, even training for a flight to space was a cultural and educational, amazing year-long process. And I'll skip the training part, but just go to the cultural and social aspects of it. And as I think most Americans, believe or think, and actually there's a lot of it is true, that Russians drink a lot of vodka. And if you are but there's more to it than that. And if you are a cosmonaut, or if you're training as a cosmonaut, you specifically drink Russian Standard Vodka. And my friend Yuri here happens to be from Russian Standard, who kindly provided this. But I am here to tell you that long before I met Yuri, long before we started doing this Yuri's Night stuff, at least from my participation, I was a fan.
Richard, it's Igor.
Yes, yeah, that's right. We met here in New York. But But really, Russian Standard Vodka is the vodka of cosmonauts. And there's obviously tons of other vodkas available, especially in Russia, but this was what we always drank. In fact, it was so popular, it had special pour nozzles on top that kind of prevented people tampering with it and like using the bottle to put cheaper vodkas in to resell and stuff. I mean, it's a whole thing about specifically Russian Standard Vodka. But where this cocktail came from is, I was drinking at lunch and dinners. I was drinking a lot of shots of vodka. There's a whole ritual I'll talk about with Igor here in a minute about drinks and the social time around dinner. But after 6 months or 8 months, 9 months of drinking just shots of vodka and on very special occasions shots of cognac, I went to a bartender friend of mine back in Texas, and I said, I really need to introduce mixed drinks into Star City, where these cosmonauts are doing nothing but drinking neat shots, but I need some help because the ingredients available on a Russian military base are very few. There's fresh produce, salt, flour, bread, plenty of vegetables and fruits, but not much else. There's also plenty of vodkas and a little shelf of cognac for special occasions. But so I challenged my bartender to help me think of something that I could make with ingredients found on a Russian military base. And we came up with this, which we called the American Cosmonaut, because I'm an American and I was being trained as a cosmonaut. So let me tell you a little bit about it. So for those of you who have some stuff out, I have a shaker together here with some ice just to prepare to do my mixing in. The first thing it starts with is 2 ounces of vodka, Russian Standard Vodka specifically. Then 1 ounce of your favorite cognac. I think today, what is it we have today? We have Courvoisier. Then to get to our fruit kick, we have 2 ounces of fresh squeezed orange juice, which I literally squeezed out of the box that was provided for us just moments before we went on air. So 2 ounces of orange juice, 1 ounce of the lime juice that I again squeezed directly out of our box, and then ½ an ounce of simple sugar. So you can make your own if you, or I cheat and buy my own. But that is it. Those are the ingredients. Give the whole thing a good shake. Oh, spray some on yourself and on your office a little bit, so I didn't have my finger on the top cap. But then, other than a little bit of vodka in the eye, you can now strain that here into my. Oh, I forgot to show you the glass. I'll show you that here once I get it poured. Here we go. But now, what I had done is I put sugar on the rim of a martini glass. I usually put a straw in it so that if you don't want to drink up the sugar that's on the rim, you can add a little bit of garnish on the sides, like I have done here with this one, and then make yourself at home. And that is perfect. And the one other thing to add, which I don't, so my wife, that's the original recipe. My wife finds this drink to be a little strong. I think it's balanced quite nicely, but drinking one of these, with 3 ounces of liquor in it, it can give you a pretty good kick. And so she will usually top it off with a little club soda across the top, a little splash, gives a little bubbly fizz, but also takes the strength of it down a notch, which she prefers. So there you go. That is the American Cosmonaut cocktail. Let me clean up a little bit of the excess that I threw around. But if I can still keep the floor here for a minute, Lauren, I want to ask Igor to back me up on a couple of social aspects of drinking vodka in Russia, and then maybe tell us a little bit about Russian Standard. But I have also brought with me today part of why I think I became such a fan of vodka was not just because of the vodka; it was because of what happened around vodka. In that, whenever I was walking around in Star City, people that hardly knew me would invite me into their homes and say, "Richard, we have a connection through part of the crew or whatever their connection to me might be. Come in, and sit down and share a meal here with us." And very often, I was so impressed with how when you sit down for a meal in a Russian home, not only did you find that you found, the Russians really appreciate fine, fresh produce. So I brought with me my radishes. People have their own home recipes for pickles, onions. They often have nearby that on the table some salt to dip those things in. Another favorite that when I would sit down, in fact, I listened to Yuri Melenchenko when he came down after a reentry that had a bunch of malfunctions that it was a very serious problem. I sat down on the floor drinking vodka and having sala. So those of you who have not had sala, is something I really gained a taste for in Russia that I keep in my freezer all the time. If you're here in New York like I am, you go to the Russian area and Brighton Beach and bring some sala home to your house. And while we were there, being welcomed into almost every home I could imagine, the host of the evening would do a great job of not only welcoming everybody, but then saying, hey, what brought us all together today we still have some friends who are up in space, and we ought to toast to our friends who are in space because they're risking their lives to advance humanity. And then a little while later, someone would say, hey, but we also need to toast the families that those people have left behind that are really also really worrying about their loved ones who are up in space. So we ought to have that as a toast. And then maybe 30 minutes later, somebody else would stand up and say, hey, you know what? One of our special guests today is, so-and-so, who I know most people don't know, but let me tell you a little bit about that person and why everyone here at the table really ought to go out of their way to say hi to that person, because you particular ones might really, appreciate each other and get along. So let's toast to that and then go back to conversation. And it was the way that you are brought in a familial way to appreciate hearth and home and each other and good, fresh foods and some fine Russian vodka, some fine Russian standard vodka, I really sincerely gained a deep appreciation for. So Igor, did I get that about right? And anything you want to add there?
You got it right. What I want to add, my name is, first of all, going to introduce myself. My name is Igor Galburt. I'm a global brand ambassador for Russian vodka brand. I've met Richard 15 years ago in New York, and we became friends, because of Russian Standard Vodka. And everything he said is truth. I could just add that, people consider Russians the most powerful, the drinkers with the most stamina. I wouldn't say that. I think the biggest drinkers are Australians, but Russians can drink a lot because the vodka is always accommodated by the food. And Richard showed the most popular food, it could be a piece of black bread, sala on top, and a shot of vodka. And that's how you spend your that's how you spend your evenings. What's really good about vodka, and a lot of people don't realize it, is that vodka is the only liquid that goes with any kind of food. Russians could even have a shot of vodka having borscht, which is like a Russian type of soup. There's no beer or cognac or anything goes with this type of meal. And it's very important. Also, it's very important when you toast, you always look other people in the eye. It means you have a connection with all of you, and that's also very important. Another thing is a toast. And I remember when, again, 15 years ago, we launched Russian Standard in the United States. We did it in Russian embassy in Washington, D.C. There was a Russian ambassador, Ushakov, on the stage, and it was me. And we did a presentation for about 2,500 people. And the funniest moment of the whole night was Ushakov's toast. And I'm gonna make the same toast because I think it's brilliant and it's eternal. So the toast would be, I'm gonna say with his accent, never trust a man who does not drink.
Hear, 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 hear.
Cheers.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Something to keep in the back.
Lauren certainly can relate to this, and me too. And of course, there are plenty of places where you drink vodka. Of course, as a Russian, I mean, I've been living in the States for 33 years, but I do believe that vodka is Russian, not exactly from France, or excuse me, Richard, from Texas. You know, nobody drinks German tequila. People drink Mexican tequila. Vodka should be Russian or Polish or Swedish, you know, from the vodka belt. And the Russian Standard is definitely the best premium vodka from Russia. And as a brand ambassador, I lived in a distillery and I've seen how much labor and energy and means goes into producing Russian Standard. So whoever is going to drink it, I highly recommend this brand, not just like somebody who works for the brand, but because it is the superior product.
I love
and of
that.
course, you know, now we are celebrating Yuri's Day, April 12th, which happened to be the birthday of my eldest son, Anthony, who's going to be 25 on April 12th. And all his life, I call him a cosmonaut, and he kind of got to it because he was born on April 12th as well. So I have a personal connection to that day. So
I love that. Well, Igor, we thank you for coming up. There's so much to talk about during this pre-show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I really appreciate you. I'm glad that I was able to learn a little bit more about Russian Standard. I got to, you know, see the Cosmonaut made. I can't wait to make it later. Beautiful. This is awesome. If y'all have questions, throw them in the questions box, by the way, and we'll make sure they get answered before we are finished.
And while you move on to Vance, I guess we can turn off our cameras where we can eat and drink off camera, so I don't have to watch my munching.
Beautiful.
But Vance, I'm going to follow along on making your cocktail here too. So
it's going to be great. I'm going to bring up my main man, my main cook, Matty, is going to show us all that. Indeed, it was fantastic hearing about the Russian Standard.
Excellent. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thanks, folks. All right. Well, now we have the Hendrick's team up, and they're going to talk to us about Hendrick's Lunar. I'm not even going to say anything. I'm going to let them take it away. It's going to be beautiful. I'm really excited about this. So we have Mr. Vance, and oh, there he is.
There he is.
Hello, guys.
Hi.
Nice. All set, ready to go, Lauren?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Well, I just wanted to thank everyone for the invitation for Hendrick's Gin and myself and Mattias and Eric to be able to come and participate in tonight is extremely, extremely exciting. When you all reached out, how fitting was celebrating Yuri's night and then Hendrick's Lunar. It seemed, without question, had to have been like a match made in the cosmos, like for tonight. It was in the cosmos. It was ready for tonight. But hello, everyone. I am Vance Henderson. I am the national ambassador for that odd and peculiar gin that hails from Girvan, Scotland, called Hendrick's Gin, and we are so very happy to be here with you tonight. Odd and peculiar, not just because we transport people to whimsical worlds with our branding or our activations, or with our fantastic ambassadors, or just because we have delicious liquid, but more importantly because of the way that Hendrick's is made. And of course we have Hendrick's Lunar, which is really being celebrated in collaboration with Yuri's night tonight. But I'm going to save that for Mattias, our ambassador to the West region, to talk about. But one piece before I turn it over to the master cook, the master cucumber himself, to take you all through this fantastic cosmic cocktail with Lauren, is that if you remember nothing else about tonight, what I want you to remember about Hendrick's being odd and unusual is it's not just because of this beautiful apothecary bottle. It's not just because of the delicious liquid inside. Hendrick's is odd and unusual because no other gin in this world or in any other planet, any other cosmos, any other galaxy tastes like Hendrick's, because no other gin is made like Hendrick's. And that, without question, is the truth. We use two completely different stills, 11 botanicals. We take 11 botanicals, we put them in what we call the Bennett still, and they get what we call like a nice little jacuzzi bath, a little jacuzzi action going on there. And the distillate that comes from that is very robust and very rich and very complex, delicious. And then we take those same 11 botanicals, and then we put them in another still that we call the Carter head, and it has this long neck, and then this basket at the top we call the flavor basket. And we take those same 11 botanicals, we put them in that flavor basket, and the distillate that comes from that is very light, fragrant, very light and very fragrant, delicious. And we combine those two liquids together, but it's not yet Hendrick's. It does not become Hendrick's until we add our piece de resistance, the cucumber and the rose. No other gin tastes like it because no other gin is made like it. I'll just leave it at that with Hendrick's and let Mattias tell you about our newest variant from what we call our cabinet of curiosities, which is the star tonight in the cosmos, Hendrick's Lunar. Mattias, the ambassador to the West region, take it away, good brother.
Mattias, before you start, a question came in for you about that jacket. We want to know where you got it from.
The jacket? I picked this up on a moonlit night in New Orleans from a jazz band that was playing down in one of the French Quarter side streets. So it's a beautiful one, and it's stayed with me ever since. Some of the cucumbers, my fellow ambassadors, actually have the same jacket, and we only wear it for the most special of occasions.
Mm.
Well, there you go. There you go. All right. Take it away.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Lauren and Vance, for the beautiful gin introduction that you guys just gave. And thank you, of course, to Richard and Igor for the beautiful information shared before. As mentioned previously, and as I'm sure you all know, having joined Yuri's Night, it is a global celebration of humanity's past, present, and future. You see, the mission of Yuri's Night is actually quite similar to my own mission and that of Hendrick's Gin, which is to use the experiment and the ginspiration of the beautiful endless night as a catalyst for education and developing the next generation of explorers into new realms of flavor. So once again, my name is Mattias Dylan Horseman, ambassador for Hendrick's Gin to the Western US, which brings us here this evening to be able to make a wonderful Hendrick's Lunar and tonic and help seize the night, or Carpe Noctem, if you will, and move forward with our latest innovation at Hendrick's Gin, Hendrick's Lunar. So Lauren, are you ready to mix up this delicious cocktail?
I think I'm ready. Let's
I'm
do
talking
it.
about million dollar on for this one. I'm
You're
ready.
going to need some of those lunar goggles. Sure. Now, right before we get into it, I wanted to give a little bit of an explanation as what goes into the magic inside every bottle of Hendrick's Lunar. You see, our master distiller, Leslie Gracie, is an avid gardener. And it is at both her house and the Hendrick's Gin Palace in Girvan, Scotland, that she actually gardens and experiments with new botanicals for future innovations. Now, it was here that she noticed that the aromas changed between day and night. Now, what she did next truly is out of this world. Excuse the pun. What she did was she was able to capture the essence of those night blooming florals with additional elements of spice and warmth to be able to capture that essence of the night and be able to create the beautiful Hendrick's Lunar that you will all be enjoying today. So I'm truly so happy to be here and to be able to mix this along. So without further ado, let's conspire with the stars to steal the secrets of the moon, and let's mix up this Hendrick's Lunar and tonic.
Let's do it.
Fantastic. Lauren, I love that you're ready. Vance, you're ready over there as well with your moon goggles on. Moon goggles are one of the perfect additions for moonbathing, the opposite of sunbathing, but I think everybody on this call loves a good moonbathing experience. So we're going to start with beautiful 2 parts of our Hendrick's Lunar Gin here. And again, this recipe can be found on hendricksgin.com or in the recipe cards, probably in your beautiful kit that was put together. So we're going to start with our 2 parts of Hendrick's Lunar Gin here with those beautiful night blooming florals and, of course, that gorgeous warmth and spice notes. Now, I am just putting this straight over ice in a glass right here. I'm using a big, beautiful balloon glass because I love a good Spanish-style G&T cocktail that keeps me cool during the warmer months here over on the West Coast in California. I did used to live in Texas as well, Richard, so I understand about coming up with those cocktails to cut that heat. And this cocktail is a perfect addition to that. Once we've added our beautiful gin and we've poured that over our glacial-filled glass with ice, what we're going to be doing is adding our beautiful tonic water. Now, with the tonic, I'm a big fancy bougie kind of guy, so I'm going to pour this over my spoon here to show you guys exactly what's going on. And as I pour this down, we're going to watch that liquid cascade down and form a beautiful concoction. inside our glasses. Now, the gin and tonic, again, is one of my favorite drinks because it truly has a place in history. You see, the gin and tonic, Winston Churchill once said, saved more hearts and minds than any other medicine in the land. And it's true because the bark of the cinchona tree was ground up to protect against the harmful effects of malaria back in the day. But today, we just enjoy it and we cheers with friends. So as a garnish to this beautiful cocktail, what I'd like to do is first I might give it a bit of a stir around, just to mix up those gorgeous flavors of the Hendrick's Lunar and tonic. Next, I'm going to garnish with 3 beautiful English cucumber slices. As Vance mentioned, Hendrick's is a symphony of 11 botanicals with soloists of rose and cucumber. So what I'm going to do is place these cucumbers to really help accentuate that base flavor in Hendrick's. Now, the next thing, this is going to truly blow your socks off like a shot of a rocket. What we're going to be doing is adding a bit of a crack of black pepper to this cocktail. That's right, a crack of black pepper. One of my favorite little twists. Next time you try this at home, I think you're going to be very pleasantly surprised. The black pepper helps to just accentuate a lot of the beautiful notes in Hendrick's gin, of course, because we have that gorgeous symphony of 11 botanicals that we would like to hear with our mouths. And with that being said, I'd like to raise a glass. And in a second, right before I introduce you to one of our most secret rituals here at Hendrick's, when we've launched Hendrick's Lunar Gin, I would like to raise a glass and one of my favorite toasts to all of you. You see, do you know how many events and choices have had to occur since the birth of the universe that led you to the making of you, just exactly the way you are today? So here's to you, made of stardust, shining bright always. Cheers, everybody. Now, because we can't be together in person, I would like to raise a glass to the moon, which connects us all. So I'm going to raise a glass, pinkies up, of course, because that's how we maintain a balanced cocktail at Hendrick's. Raise a glass to the moon and say, Carpe Noctem.
Carpe Noctem.
Noctem.
Carpe Noctem. I'm going to raise this glass and put my pinky to my heart and say, Carpe Noctem, as I take a deep breath in. So, Carpe Noctem. Carpe Noctem. And then finally, I'll raise a glass to all of you and connect and say, Carpe Noctem.
Carpe Noctem.
Thank you so much for the beautiful hosting, Laura. Appreciate it so much. And Vance, as always, thank you very much for being your wonderful self. If anybody would like to follow me along on Instagram, you guys can go ahead and follow.
I think you muted yourself, my friend.
Virtual world, it gets us every time.
And indeed, I got caught by the mute monster here in another universe. I love it. I just put some information in the chat of how you can stay in touch with myself and Hendrick's Gin. You can follow me on Instagram at The Bar Poet. Go to hendricksgin.com for some more beautiful cocktail recipes, or of course, Hendrick's Gin US on Instagram as well.
I love it. Thank you so much. And I want to briefly bring up 2 more things. For the after party today, Hendrick's will be making another appearance. So make sure to tune in and join us. Additionally, if you haven't checked out our silent auction, there might be some fun Hendrick's stuff in there as well. When you access the interface, once this live event is over, you'll be able to see all of those things at the top of your screen. Beautiful. All right. So now we're going to open it up for some questions for Richard. I appreciate you both so much. Thank you so much for being here and doing this with us. Awesome. Let's see. Ooh, actually, Vance, I do have a question for you. Someone asked what the best tonic to pair with Hendrick's Gin is.
There are many great quality tonics that are out there. The first thing I'll say is to always make sure that it's a premium tonic is first. Whatever way you go, make sure you have a premium tonic. And that 2 particular brands that I kind of play around with more often than not, accessibility and flavor, are Fever Tree and Q Spirits or Q Tonic. Very 2 quality brands.
Beautiful. I love that. And then Richard, a question for you. When did you come up with the American Cosmonaut?
Oh, that was about 6 months into my training when, for literally 6 months while I was living there in Star City, we would have shots of vodka, frankly, all through the day. I mean, lunch was not uncommon at all to have shots of vodka, and dinner always included shots of vodka. And obviously, I grew to appreciate it the way I described how much I appreciated the familial bonding that went around with it. But I was just missing some variety. I just really wanted to make a cocktail, because cocktails, even now, cocktails are not common and popular throughout Russia. I mean, in Moscow is a very international city, but in other parts are still not. So I wanted to introduce it, and to my knowledge, it's still served in a few places there in Star City, and the place where we invented it down in Austin, Texas, they actually have a button on their bar tab for it, so on their cash register specifically for this drink.
I love it. This is great. Oh, all right, great cocktails, amazing friends. Very excited for what Yuri's Night has planned for us this evening. Thank you all for joining us for the pre-party. Yeah, I think it's time to get started for everything else that we have going on today. So I bid you all adieu. Thank you so much for being here with us today, and Carpe Noctem. Cheers.
Carpe Noctem, everyone.
Carpe Noctem.